Okay, so on number 7, oh, by the way, we are back from commercial. And number 7, this is just going to be x minus 1 squared. It works that way because 1 times 1 is 1. X times x is x squared. 1 times x, negative 1 times x is negative x. Double it, it's negative 2x. Over here, this is going to be x minus 5 squared because x times x is x squared. Negative 5 squared is 25. Negative 5 times x doubled is negative 10x. Okay, and on number 9, on the other side at the top of the page, that one is, okay, this is 3x squared. This is 6 squared. 3 times 6 is 18, and if you double that, you get 36. So we're going to be able to do 3x plus 6 squared. And, okay, I think I violated the first rule of factoring right there because isn't it true that all 3 of these have a common factor? 9, 36, and 36. There's a number that goes into all of those. For instance, 9. So we could, I'm going to write out here, this could be written as 9 and x squared plus 4x plus 4, because 9 times 4 is 36. And in that way, we could write it this way because we have now 9 on the outside, but we have x times x is x squared. 2 times 2 is 4, but also 2 times x doubled is also 4. So we could write it this way. And this is probably the better way to do it over here because it's a simpler, you can see that there's a common factor still here, but you've got it in both factors. So it would be better to just not think about that one for now. Well, I'm going to quickly say this is what we could do. So 3x plus 6 and 3x plus 6. The common factor in this one is 3. The common factor in this one is 3. So if you take 3 out twice, you get 9. And then if you take 3 out of this, it leaves x plus 2, and you end up with the same thing. So if you take 3 out of this, you get x plus 2 also. All right, last example for today, examples, last 2. This looks really intimidating because of all those fractions. Oh my, what will we do? Perhaps you've learned this before, perhaps not, but a way to get rid of fractions if you dislike fractions, and this will be, both of these will be much easier to do if we do what's called clearing them of fractions, is to multiply everything by the common denominator. So the common denominator for 3 and 9 would be 9. So we're going to multiply everything in the equation by 9. Now when you multiply 0 times 9, it's still going to be 0. So on this side, we're still going to have 0. But we're going to have 9 times x squared, which is 9x squared. We're going to have 2/3 times 9. So follow me on this. 2/3 of 9 is 6. So now we're going to have 6x. All right, and then 9 times 1/9, or 1/9 of 9, is 1. Okay, now we have a number that's a square there. We have a number that's a square there. And if we took the square roots of those, let's see, I'm going to put that right here, 3x, because that's 3x squared. This is 1 squared. And if we took 3x times 1 and then doubled it, that would be the middle. So we can factor this using that pattern. And we're going to say 3x plus 1 squared. Oh, and that's supposed to be equal to 0. We're solving this. This is the first time it has said solve, and we had an equal. It's the first time we had an equal sign, so we're supposed to find out the value of x. Sorry, you couldn't see that down there. And so we need to think about what value of x would make this 0. So we're thinking in our head that if this were equal to 0, we would be subtracting 1, dividing by 3 to undo that. So negative 1/3. And since both of the factors are the same, this really means we have two factors of 3x plus 1, then we really only have one answer. Typically, we've been getting two answers for an equation like that, but since it's a square, it has just one answer. All right, so looking over here at B, what should we multiply by? Well, let's multiply by the common denominator. Well, there's only one fraction with a denominator, so let's multiply by 4. And again, 0 times 4 is still 0. We're going to end up with 4x squared. And 3 times 4 is 12, so 12x. Now, thinking of this, this 9/4, that's a little less intuitive about what you're doing. We're multiplying by 4 over 1 is what we ought to think about. And now we have 4 over 4, which can be canceled out, and this will be plus 9, like that. Okay, if you're not sure how to do that, then make sure you know how to use your calculator keys to do that. Let me grab a calculator quickly and show you. Okay, if you didn't know, this is how you would do 4/9 on the calculator. Here's your fraction key is this one right here. And so I'm going to turn it on, clear it, and we're going to do 9 fraction key 4 times 4. And that's 9. So either way you slice it, it's 9, and now we have this trinomial. This leading term looks like it's 2x squared. This one at the end is 3 squared. And if we took 2x times 3, that would be 6x, and doubled it, it would be 12. So that suggests that we should be able to say 2x plus 3 squared. And we're solving that. And so now we need to figure out what value of x would make this 0. And I think you can see if we started at 0 and undid this, subtracting 3, dividing by 2, we would end up with negative 3 over 2, or negative 3/2. Okay, and your sub can pause the video now while you guys work on number 9 and number 10, and I'll come back in a moment or two and show you how they're done. And we are back. So number 9, that's x squared, that's 3 squared. 3 times x twice is 6x. So the factors here are going to be x plus 3 squared. That's equal to 0. The value of x that makes that 0 is negative 3. Okay. And over here, we need to figure out a common denominator we should multiply by. That would be 36, because multiplying 3 times 12 is 36, so that's the common denominator is 36. So multiplying by 36, so we're going to get 36x squared. 7/3 times 36 is actually, that's like, I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking about. 3 divides into 36 12 times, so I'm going to do 7 times 12, which I actually know my times table, so that's 84, and it's minus 84x. And then multiplying by 49 over 36 by 36, those 36's are just going to cross out, and this will be 49. And we end up with those. Now, 36 is, this looks like 6x squared at the front, 7 squared at the back. 6 times 7 is 42, and if you double that, that's 84. So we could write 6x minus 7 squared. And then if we're going to solve that, this is going to be adding 7 and then dividing by 6. So 7 over 6. Oh, you can't see that. There we go, 7 over 6. One answer. All right, so there you go. That is a 7.7 lesson, and that means that next time there will be either a homework check or a quiz on 7.7, or both a homework check and a quiz. All right, so I'll see you when I get back.